Hi, welcome back to Happy Apple Core Homestead. Today we are going to be making a Boozy smash box. So in front of me here I've got some white chips and some 60% bittersweet chocolate chips. I have a mold that I got online, and it is sitting on a pan with some parchment paper in between. I've got some booze, some Bacardi Limon, that's what I'm using today. This little guy, I'll show you what we're gonna do with it later, and sprinkles. For our first step, we're going to take some of this Bacardi here. I'm gonna soak a paper towel, and we're gonna coat the inside of the mold. And the next step is we're gonna head over to the stove. I have a pot of water over there. We're going to melt the chocolate with a double boiler system, meaning there's going to be water in the pan on the bottom, and then we'll have a bowl, completely dry bowl on top that we'll put the chocolate in. Now, it would be a lot more of a Boozy smash box if we put some of the booze in with the chocolate, but chances are it's going to cause your chocolate to seize. And that's fine for like the inside of a truffle, but for pourability in this application, probably not that good of an idea. So let's go over there and get some of this chocolate melted. I have a clean bowl on top of this pan of water. I'm gonna turn the burner up to about medium high, and I'm gonna do about half and half with the chocolate and the white chips. So I'm doing this the super easy way. I am not going to temper it or do anything fancy. I'm just gonna melt it, and then we're gonna go back over there and pour it into the mold. Now this will take a little while. So I'll see you back once it gets a little bit more melted. This is almost completely melted. You'll want to make sure that there's no more lumps left in here, and that it's nice and smooth. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. So let's go back over to the other counter and get our mold filled up. Okay, we've got our chocolate and our mold. I have a little spatula here that we'll be using later. And just make sure that you don't burn your hands if you try to pick this up. It could be hot. It's not too bad. Not too bad. Okay, so we're gonna pour, ooh, careful that the steam doesn't get you too. Pour some chocolate in here. And then we're gonna swish it around all the way up to the edges, just like this. And I'm just going to use this spatula to kind of move the chocolate up to the tops. And it doesn't have to look gorgeous because it's going to be on the inside. The part that you're going to see is on the outside of the mold. Okay, once you have the entire inside of the mold filled, like that, then we're just going to drip out any extras back into the bowl, and we'll be using more of it in just a little while. Okay. Now we're just going to wipe the edges of the mold get those cleaned up a bit. Now that it's full, the edges are clean, we're gonna pop this in the freezer for a few minutes. You can also put it in your refrigerator if you don't have enough space. Maybe 10-15 minutes, and then we'll come back for the next step. All right, now it's out of the freezer. It's nice and firm. This is what it looks like. Pretty. Now what we want to do is we want to reinforce these edges. And I had a plate over the top of this and I left it on the pan. So it's still pretty flexible or pourable. I don't know, whatever. It's spreadable. So I'm just going to go along all the edges and paint some more chocolate on. And you don't need to do the whole heart. Just the edges is fine. It'll just prevent cracking when we take it out of the mold. And because this is really, really cold, your chocolate will start to harden pretty quickly as you put it on. And you can put some down the center just to reinforce that if you want to, but you don't have to. So that's what it looks like. And I'm just gonna clean the edges off a little bit and back into the freezer it goes for a couple minutes, and then we will take it out of the mold. Okay, it's the moment of truth. Let's see how it does. We're just gonna pull it gently away from the mold, just like so. Okay, so you can see it's coming off quite nicely. We're gonna turn it upside down and peel the mold off. There she is. Okay, we have our 2 chocolate hearts all ready to go. One of them looks a little funky, but I think we're gonna make it work. And in front of me here, I have this is a hot pan. It was in the oven just on 180 degrees just to get warm. And we'll just move right on to the next step. And the first thing I'm going to do is put on some gloves so I do not get fingerprints on the chocolate. And since this one, it's not broken, but it just looks a little ragged, I'm gonna use this one for the bottom. And I'm just gonna put it on the pan and just let the chocolate melt down and hopefully make it a little bit more flat. It still is a little bit of a gap here on this side, and I may not be able to fix that. But for tutorial purposes, I think that you guys get the point. You can take a little bit more care perhaps in your execution than I have. But this is the basics. All right, now I'm gonna lift this up and hopefully I don't break it. And I'm just gonna set it right here, upside down. And I'm gonna clean this off and I'm gonna put it back in the oven. It's just at 180 degrees, so it's not super hot, just enough to melt the chocolate a little bit. And then I will be right back. Now that the bottom of our heart box is ready to go, it's time to fill it up with goodies. You can put anything you want into your heart box. You can put jewelry or money or candies. Chocolate covered strawberries is really popular. I'm kind of partial to a love note, but it's entirely up to you. For this tutorial, I'm just going to put in some sprinkles, some Russian candies, and a shot of Bacardi Limon, because after all, this is a cocktail video. I highly recommend that anything you put inside of your smash box is not breakable. So this is made out of plastic. Now that our smash box is full, we're gonna go grab that pan out of the oven and kind of do the same thing with the top box and melt down the edges and put it on top of this one. And now that we have this top portion of the box melted on the edges, we're going to carefully lift it up and set it right on top of the bottom box. And it does kind of glue on pretty fast, so hopefully I get it pretty accurate the first time around. And they are just slightly different sizes, which is okay. Just gonna tuck these edges in here. And we can make some adjustments later. This is likely why people just do the just one side of the box, because they don't come out exactly the same. What we've done here is we have just a few cracks along the edges. You may not be able to see them, but we're going to repair them now. And I have some melted chocolate that I have refrigerated just a little bit to get it to a little bit of a nicer consistency. And we're just going to fill in these cracks just really gently with a spatula. And then we'll run, I have gloves on, we'll just run our fingers through to just really smooth it out and make it nice looking and a nice texture. So if you decide to do this 2-box method, this will be a nice way to clean up any areas that you feel are, little gaps or unsightly, and it'll just make a really nice and smooth box. So I'm going to wrap up this project here. As you can see, I'm working on it. I'm going to finish it up and I will show you the finished product in just a minute. The holes have been patched and now it's time to put some decorations on this and see what happens next. This is some melted white chocolate and we're just going to drizzle it on. And now that we have a pretty drizzle, we'll just put some sprinkles on. Well, friends, it's time to see what happens when we smash the beautiful heart. That was fun, right? You can see here, it's just beautiful confetti candy and your cocktail of the month. Well, I hope that was fun, you guys. Thank you so much for sticking with me, for trying something fun and new. I hope you enjoyed it. I mean, this is just such a fun adventure. It's good for kids and friends and partners, and I hope you'll try it as well. I know my technique isn't perfect, but I mean, we're smashing it, like, rah. So come on, who cares if it's perfect, you guys? I'm not selling these, but I do plan to make them for some of my loved ones, and I'm hoping that they will love it as much as I do. So have a great day, you guys, and I will see you next time. Bye.